Sitting on a river that runs through southern Skyrim, we can find an old mine. Its veins abandoned, the place now serves as a shelter for a group of Skyrim's more ill-intentioned inhabitants. Welcome to Oddities, a show where we take a look at locations in games to find details, moments, and minutiae we just think are interesting. So grab yourself a tea or a coffee and sit back as we explore together. Today we're here at Embershard Mine, likely one of the first mini-dungeons you might come across during a playthrough. Placed just below Helgen, between Riverwood and the Standing Stones, it serves as a place where you can grab some better gear, or maybe loot to offload over at Lucan's for some extra cash to boost the early days of your Dragonborn's adventure. The place is quite hidden by the surrounding trees, and you wouldn't be at fault for walking right by it if you didn't have a compass telling you where it is. The only indication is this small path of wooden steps dug into the earth. You can imagine the ground here would get quite slippery in the rain, and it wouldn't do to slip while holding a sack full of heavy ore. One sentry always sits out the front, keeping a watchful eye on the road. I wonder if they rotate the guards, or if this bandit simply drew the short straw. Standing out here in the cold wind for hours couldn't be fun. Interestingly, this sentry will give you a few chances to leave should you approach, not outright attacking as soon as they see you. I suppose bodies stacking up nearby your camp would raise the suspicion of the local law, who might be inclined to investigate. We have the mine entrance, this wooden scaffold holding the split in the earth open. A lantern hangs nearby, the only light for the poor bandit, but at least they could split some logs to pass the time, either for firewood or some panels like the ones we can find here, perhaps to build defences to further bolster the underground fortress. Entering, we're greeted by a dark tunnel, filled with mist flowing in from the cold air outside. Torches choke the roof of the place with smoke. You can imagine the smell of resin or tallow that comes from them. Conjoined with the shadows, it would be a far cry from the clear atmosphere of the mountains above. We have something of a wooden track that runs down beside the incline, allowing miners to push their minerals up to the surface with ease. Probably 3 or 4 strong workers having to lug the cart, depending on how much they loaded it. But this is not a place of work anymore. Ease of access replaced with a tripwire, threatening to catch us unaware. The trap either killing intruders, or at least warning the bandits to their presence. Entering a wide cavern, we can find an underground river fed by this small waterfall, likely melted snow from above, or worming its way through from some underground lake. There's this walkway built above the river, allowing workers, and now the bandits, to bypass the freezing waters and traverse deeper into the mine. Getting wet down here could be a death sentence, with the threat of hypothermia or illnesses caused by the cold. Strangely, though it can be assumed the miners constructed this walkway, it does have this security measure in which a portion raises and lowers with the activation of this lever here. It serves to create something of a moat for the bandits, but I wonder how it served the miners. Perhaps it was a safety measure should the mine be attacked, or to prevent thieves from sneaking in to steal the mine's resources. We can find a collapsed portion of the mine here, with a skeleton buried within the rubble. Their journal sits here, complaining about the safety standards of the mine. Apparently it was not constructed with safety in mind, and the ground would often shift and threaten to fall. It looks like this person's warnings weren't heeded in time. But it does indicate the nature of the people that own this place, probably concerned with profits over the safety of their workers. I suppose the mine might have been abandoned after this collapse, which left the bandits an easy prize. A lantern still burns next to the skeleton. Was one of the bandits paying respects, or simply digging in the rubble for some extra loot? This overlook over the river seems like something of a storage space, with shelves and tables to hold tools and supplies. Miners may have sat here, chugging some ale on their break before returning to the depths, watching the falls that slowly cut the ground from above their heads. This is an interesting spot. We have these two rooms that sit behind barred doors, seemingly cells to keep prisoners. And indeed, your spouse can be kidnapped and taken here during the Hearthfire expansion's random events. But I don't think the bandits built these. Instead, they were probably tool or weapon storage, locked away to prevent any uncertified people from accessing them. Maybe it also held the miners' pay or other valuables within this great chest, accessible only by the mine boss when they deemed fit. Further on, we have another huge cavern. There's something of a smithing setup down here, with the bandits forging or repairing their weapons, keeping them ready and sharp for upcoming raids. In days past, this might have been a simple station for keeping pickaxes or other mining equipment in good condition. There's another river as well, fed by yet another small waterfall. It seems the mine is surrounded by underground veins of water and pincered by these two rivers. It's no wonder the place was threatening to collapse. We can feel the drips coming from this exposed crater above, hitting the sides of the cavern and spraying over the riverbed. These plants are loving the moisture, likely thriving in the freezing cold. The humidity in the air here would be palpable, and with the smoke from the smithy it would probably be difficult to get a full breath. I don't think we need to theorize on what this bucket was used for. The bandits probably could have stayed down here for a long while if we hadn't come along. We can see they've been out hunting and have helped themselves to the old storerooms. Sacks upon sacks of foodstuffs sit in this storage space. It's clear the owners of this place were quite wealthy, if they could afford to stock their mines so well. Though they lacked foresight in most safety practices, at least they provided these little barriers around this walkway to prevent a slip into the water below. With that, we find the exit and get a nice view of a place we're already very familiar with. And that's pretty much Embershard Mine. A very short dungeon, but it's a nice spot to get some early game resources, gear, and a bit more combat experience. Thanks for watching. As always, let us know if there's any games, locations, or particular details you'd like us to take a look at. I'm replaying the Bioshock and Half-Life games at the moment, and there's already so much I've found that I'd like to explore with you in the future. We've got a bit of a roadmap going now, so look forward to more Skyrim, Fallout, Halo, Left 4 Dead, and a bunch of other games. We've got some other series in the works too that match the vibe of Oddities, some more unscripted, others with different formats, but all stuff we hope you'll enjoy. Subscribe for more, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.